So Lily Allen just delivered a really quiet but personal interview, and I think one of the reasons I'm continually impressed by her is just how much her humanity is on the table, stays on it. It's in the writing, it's in the interviews. She's not necessarily changing when it comes to persona. She is who she is, and I'm not saying persona isn't there, but I sense the person, and that's forever why I am captivated. But I wanted to just talk through some points that she had said. She really built an album by stepping into the unknown. In the interview, she mentioned how she had gone in, like, the studio itself was already booked, like, it was just a routine thing. And everything that she had been making for the last X amount of years into her last album had not been good to her. She hadn't even really revisited the files. But so I feel as if she walked into the studio leading into the unknown, and something really beautiful was able to be created from that. All she had were like 18 track titles, which she also said is not necessarily how she normally writes, but she also cannot write outside of the studio, or it starts to feel very contrived. And I think that this really helps explain how much of a narrative was built within this project, because she essentially came out with like a layout, a soft layout, but nonetheless an arc that she wanted to sort of pull narrative from. And I thought that that was really interesting. Another part that really stuck with me was the interviewer had sort of said like, "Oh, do you have any, like, what are some really good lines? Did you feel like there were any good one-liners?" And she really expressed how a good line is only good when it's supported by the lyrics around it, and how it's about painting a picture. I'm a writer, and one thing I think about is the math of the work. But I think when I say math, even, it's just about craft. And she really is a studier of craft. And I think that that's really impressive. And she also talked about how she really hasn't performed, on stage since she had become sober. And I could sense a real fear in that, but also how acting had become her anchor, because since she had gotten sober, she had been on the stage, but sort of with like a fourth wall, right? Because in acting, you're ignoring the audience, right? But you're also performing them for them. But on stage, and she's also a solo artist, like the audience, there's no in between. You're right there, I'm right there. Even with the breakup, and understanding that going through that sober was something she hadn't had to deal with before, and how it was incredibly difficult. But she stuck with it. Her sobriety did not end, and I find that incredibly heroic. I've never had that as a struggle in my life, but understanding that I have routines that I lean towards when I go through something, and knowing that whatever my routine was, if it was no longer there and I had to sort of rebuild it, and also coming off an experience that I never thought I would have again, like in Lily Allen's case, a divorce, that'd be incredibly challenging. And there was just so much respect that I had already had for her, but was reinforced. And finally, just thinking that, she said, like, if I were to dedicate this album, it would be to my kids. And knowing now that they get to see her perform, and that they're so excited, and even that she's building it around their school schedules, it was a really great interview. Like, watch.